folks, Fiona Whitten from Oakville Crafts here, and I'm live with another Stamping and Creating with Fiona. So this morning I posted a blog post where I have made a card for a colour challenge. The challenge being to use three colours, which are Tahitian Tide, which is the blue colour, Parakeet Party, which is the green. Both of those two are the in the new 2022-2024 in colours, and then the third colour is Daffodil Delight, which is a good old staple colour that you will find in the Brights family. So apologies if you got a bit of a glare from this green cardstock. It is quite bright. I'm hoping that this is going live now, so I'm just double checking my my laptop just to see if I could see. It says it's live, but let's double check again. Hopefully it will pop up in a minute. I never know with these things. Facebook seems to be changing things so much at the moment that I cannot keep up with what's going on. I mean, it was bad enough that last week's video, they told me that I had actually been naughty, and they decided that they were going to mute it in certain countries because I breached copyright. I was like thinking, well, it's only me, but hey, anyway. So, right, so quickly share with you the card. So this is the card that went on my blog this morning, and the one that I've entered for the colour challenge. So as I said, it's Parakeet Party, Tahitian Tide and Daffodil Delight. And the stamp set here that I have used is the Lovely and Lasting stamp set, which looks like this. And I simply used this one single stamp 3 times. And I used my trusty stamp apparatus, and I started off with the Parakeet Party. So I had the stamp stuck to the plate, stamped the Parakeet Party a few times, unhinged the plate and put it down a notch and put it back in, and then obviously cleaned the stamp, otherwise it'd be a bit of a mess, and then stamped again in Tahitian Tide, and then I repeated the whole process again, cleaning, and then unhinging and moving the plate down another notch, and then using the Daffodil Delight. So this piece here, the sentiment is simply this Best of Luck, which I just stamped in black and then just cut it and popped it up on dimensionals. And then these cute little dots are part of the matte dots, the 2022-2024 matte dots. So I used again the Parakeet Party, and these are quite nice because they're like an ombre effect. So you'll notice that as you go to the right, well, as it is in this bag, I'm sure if I put it back the other way around, then it would probably go the other way. So it starts from dark to light, and then there is the sweet sorbet as well. Just so you know, all 5 colours are here. It's just that the sweet sorbet is hidden underneath the crumbs. I'm making a pig's ear of this. Let's see if I can get this out without. No, I don't want to lose that one. You know what? We'll just leave it in there. It's just one of those things. Anyway, so there are all 5 colours. It's just the sweet sorbet up there. Okay, so that's the card that was posted this morning. Now, I'm not going to remake this card, but what I am going to do for today is I am going to use the exact 3 same colours. So I said Tahitian Tide, Parakeet Party and Daffodil Delight. So I have my Stampin' Right markers in each of those colours, and I also have the light versions of the Stampin' Blends in each of the colours. So I've got the light Tahitian Tide, I have the light Parakeet Party, and I have the light Daffodil Delight. So I'm going to be using those, and obviously I've got cardstock in that colour. And then the other products that I'm using are the Sending Smiles stamp set. So this is a photopolymer stamp set, so it's clear. Except mine's not so clear because it's going red. You will find that happens with photopolymer. Don't panic, it does not affect how it stamps. And any colour that has some red ink, red dye in it will actually send your photopolymer stamps red. So I mostly use Starry Sky on this, so obviously there is some red in there. So as I said, it's already stained it. And then I'm also going to use the sending dies. So there's 14 of them in here, including a very cute, there's two, there are, woo, heck, 2 dies, these springing apart, that you can use for the sentiment. So you can cut out this thin sending and layer it on this, or you can use this again and you can also then stamp on it. Today I'm actually going to be doing some die cutting and using those two. Plus I'm going to be stamping and doing some other bits and pieces. So that's my intention. We'll see how we go as we go along. Hopefully, as I said, we can, let's see, I'm still trying to see where everything has got to. Nope. But it's still not popping up, so I really do hope it's here. I know there's a couple of people of you watching. Oh, Kim, hi. I'm just peering into my phone at the moment. Anyway, so as I was saying, I'm going to start with my Stampin Blends. So I've got my 3 colours. And I'm going to use a technique that was shared with us when we did the Creativity Now event, which was a couple of weekends ago now. And I'm just creating a background. So I'm using the light in each of the colours, and I'm going to use the brush end. So it's the thick, it's got quite a point on it, but it's more of a brush. And I'm just simply going to go across backwards and forwards a few times in each of the colours. Now the die is not particularly large, so I need to kind of make sure, because I want all 3 colours in this. So I just need to keep an eye out on what I'm doing. So that was the Tahitian Tide. Then I'm going to use my Parakeet Party. I should check that that's actually long enough. Might find it's not. Hey, maybe I'll just do that. You're not going to see the ends that much. Oops, a daisy. Like that. And then I am going to use the thick end of the Daffodil Delight. If you are doing this, don't worry if you've got some white showing. Just adds a little bit of interest. I'm just going to put some more up here in the hope that will blend in. Right, so we have that. Let's just see how that shapes up. So that sending will fit on there perfectly. So I'll end up with some of my letters in mostly Tahitian Tide, some mostly in the Parakeet Party, and some kind of in all 3. I mean, you could start with the S there and the G there, and then they have all 3 in them. So maybe we'll just do that at a bit of a slant. Now, the other thing that I'm going to use, just to make my life so much easier, is some adhesive sheets. So you'll find these in the catalogue. These adhesive sheets are a godsend when you've got small, thin items that you want to adhere to another item. Now I'm not going to use the whole sheet in one go. So the only thing I will say is when you are pulling it out of the bag, first of all, be careful you're only pulling one, because you only want to use one at a time. And sorry, I'm just trying to find my scissors, which I know I had on my desk, but have got buried already. So I'm just going to cut across this. And the nice thing also is that there are, so there are like already pre-cut slots like this that you can then peel off. So let's see, that's what I want to do. I want to take, oh, okay, so that's not what I want to do. I want to do it the other way. I want to take the other side off. So there you go, you can learn from my mistakes. So the tip is to peel off from the side that is not got the little cuts on. And that's going to be a lot of fun now because I've got sticky stuff on my hands. Let's see if we can do this. Do I have the nails to do it? That is the question. So it's a little bit fiddly. Just getting the layers to separate. There we go. And I'm actually going to use my scissors just to hold that down so that I don't end up getting it stuck to my hand. Oh, right. Okay, so we're going to do this bit at a time. So we're going to stick this one on here, like so. And I'll just do exactly the same with this one. So it might have been a bit quicker to go the other way. But what you do want to do is you want to put it on the underneath side of the item that you want to adhere. So we're going to use that, and then I'm going to adhere that to a piece of, let's see, I have a piece of, maybe we'll do the green. So that will fit through. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. And I'm going to bring in my mini Stampin' cut and emboss machine. Cool, what a mouthful. And now, so I need plate 1. And then I will need plate 2. So then we're going to place this on here and put our die on here on top, and then we're going to put another plate 2 on top. Now I stagger mine because I find that it's easier to have this rolling through if the ends that go into the machine first are staggered. So that's that. There we go. Double check that it's actually coming out, which it is. But it's here. Stuck to the, we'll sort that out in a minute. So hopefully you can see, or at least see when I put it down, that it's 3 colours. So we've got the Tahitian Tide, we've got the Parakeet Party, and we also have the Daffodil Delight. So that little bit needs to come out. Right, I'm going to cut a piece of Parakeet Party, but I'm not convinced at this precise moment in time that that is the colour that I want to use. So let's just wait and see. So we'll just start with that. Put the second plate number 2 on. Like so. see how that works. Yeah, maybe not. So maybe we'll just use a piece of the white. And that's not going to work either because that's got the stuff on behind. So we'll use this. Let's see. Just need to cut that a little bit. So bear with me. So that's that. Oops, there you go. So that's this, not that one we want this one. This sending. And then, as I say, we're going to put the second plate on top and then put it through. Like that. Let's move that out of the way for the moment. And then, so we've got white. So this should, you can see this slightly better on here. Now, the one thing that we're missing is the dot on the eye, which quite often sticks inside the die itself. I don't know if you can see, but it's actually still there. But I'm not going to worry about that because I'll just simply use a Tahitian Tide matte dot. I think that would be a lot easier. Now, this can be a little bit fiddly. So you would want to be careful just taking off the backing on this and just do a little bit at a time. So starting with one end, because if you leave the backing on one half of it, then you got something to grip whilst you're putting the actual letters on. So it's a question of simply lining up each letter, pulling the backing away, making sure that the letter is actually where you want it. So this kind of needs to go so that the N is at the top there. And then we've got the D, and then the I. Now some of the backing is still on here now, so we've got to find that again. Where is it? Here we go. It's here. Maybe not. I think my husband's about to walk in as well. Maybe not, and he is. And I'm live. But he's made me a cup of tea, so he's allowed. So it's all right, you're not on camera. Thank you. He's a keeper. Right, so let's get back to this. Thank you. Right, try again. Now that all that backing is off, it's easy to just simply put it on without trying to stick to your hands, of course, or to your fingers. There we go. Right, so we've now got our sending stuck on the back. Now you could, if you wanted to, you could also, the other thing you could do is you could use that and then still have another colour behind, but I think that kind of makes it a little bit too fussy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a Tahitian Tide dot to there. And if I do it now, I won't forget. And now I do have to get the packet out of the packet. There we go. Right. I want my take your pick tool. start with everything and then it all disappears. I quite like this little Tahitian Tide, which has obviously gone walkabouts in the bag. And I'm just going to put that on here. There we go. So that sets off the eye, so at least we know there is an eye there. So now we have our sending. So that's part of the card done. But we need a bit more. And we're sending what? We're going to send some thanks? Are we going to send a note? Or what is it? And I'm going to stamp, and I'm also going to do some embossing. Now, the embossing that I'm doing is using these thanks and hello embossing folders, which are very cute because they have thanks in lots of different languages, and they also have hello in lots of different languages. So I'm going to use one of those. I think I'm going to use the hello. I always seem to be sending lots of thank you cards, but I think I might just say hello this time. So, and you'll notice that they're long and thin. So these do fit through the mini machine. And obviously they will go landscape rather than portrait. I mean, you can put them on a portrait card. You can just then cut off. You just cut it to size. But this is ideal for a landscape card. So that's what I'm going to do. And I don't think I want to use white. I think I'm going to use some Parakeet Party. So I'm just going to cut some. Now I know that my landscape card is the front of it is going to be 10.5 by 14.9. Now I'm not going to use the whole of the 14.9. I'm not going to use the whole of the 10.5. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 9.5 by 13.9, which is basically 1 centimetre narrower and 1 centimetre shorter than what we've got now. I'm pretty certain actually that this is still going to be too wide, and it is. So I think I'm going to cut it down even more, and instead of being 9.5, I'm going to make it. No, I think I might go 6.5. Let's see where the sending will go. Maybe 7.5. Just so that there is space for it. Yep. So I'm going to run that through the mini machine. And this time I will need a different setup. So I'm going to use, I have to remember now, these are not thick embossing folders. These are standard embossing folders, so I don't need, I need plate 3. So this tells me I need, because it's standard embossing folders, so I need plate 3 and plate 1. So I've got plate 1 already. I put my card somewhere, there we go. I've got my card and I've got my embossing folder, and I'm going to put my cup of tea out the way so that I don't knock it. So it's a question of simply tidy up here. Well, she says tidy up. I'm basically just pushing it all to one side. Putting the cardstock in. And let's see if I'm putting the sending there. I might actually change this a bit, and I'm going to check so that oops, that way. The nice thing is the embossing folders are clear. I quite like the thanks and I like the merci and then the thank you underneath. Like that. So I'm going to put it through like that, which means that I'll probably end up cutting a piece off the top. Oops, sorry, did I just knock everybody out? So as long as the embossing folder is fully covered and it's going in, you know what, I'm just going to put it in that way and then we can cut if we need to. That way. Put the hinge in first. I nearly forgot that. So I've got plate 1, I've got my embossing folder with the cardstock in, which is going in hinge first. There we go. No, it's not. Why is this not working? Where is it? I'm sure these are just normal embossing folders. Let's try it this way. There we go. I think you can. Sometimes you need like 4 hands to do this. Now that should have embossed. There we go. Yes. So that's nice. So I've got a sending and we've got the thank you there, but I'm also going to stamp, so I'm not too worried about that. And in fact, I might even just take a bit off. Except the only issue with cutting cardstock once you've embossed it, if you're using the trimmer, because it's a blade that you pull and push, you could pull and end up not having a neat cut. So maybe I won't. If you have a guillotine action, then that's a lot easier and works a lot better if you have already embossed your cardstock. So that's a tip for you. So don't do as I was going to do, but right. Okay, so we have our sending, we have our embossed portion. Now we're going to do a little bit of stamping, and for that I need some ink. So I'm going to use some Tahitian Tide ink. Move these out of the way again. And I'm going to use my sending smiles stamps, which is here. So we're sending what? What are we sending? I think I said I was going to send a hello card. So I'm just going to stamp a card to say hello. Which is that one. I'm going to put this on a G block, which is a small is a narrow but long one. Now the trick, I was just about to do something that I always say not to, is with the photopolymers, because they are so bendy, I would suggest you simply put your stamp down on your grid paper and then give it a second or two and then pick up your stamp with your block, and then you know that that is going to be straight. Whereas if you're trying to put it on here, inevitably, with the best will in the world, you're not necessarily going to get it straight, not with a lot of faffing around. So the easiest way is to simply put it on your grid paper, give it a second and then pick it up. And then that's nice and straight. Now I'm going to stamp that onto some white. Probably need a bit bigger piece than that. Although I could stamp it onto some other colours, but no, I'm going to stamp it on here. So I've got some more basic white. Don't forget, these ink pads are very juicy, so you don't need to be too heavy-handed. Just a light tap or kiss not sure. Sometimes. Put it in the middle. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want to die cut it out. I can't decide at the moment as to what end I want to have in the, use the die. So here's the dies again. Again, this is from the Sending Dies die set. And these are all designed to fit these sentiments perfectly. Like so. So, good old trusty mini machine. So we're back to die cutting. So we've got plate 1, plate 2. We've got the cardstock, which does just fit through. But I'm actually going to cut this so that it goes through from the other way. So I prefer my long dies to go in like head first, for want of a better description, rather than sideways, simply because it's just a lot easier. I just realised there's a horrible shadow on that, but hopefully you can still see it. Now, we don't have a plate for this, magnetic plate, so I'm just going to simply hold this in place with a bit of, actually I'll take this off for a second so I can see what I'm doing. Hold it in place with a bit of washi tape. So this is some old Stampin' Up washi tape. I have that, and then the clear plate. So we've got plate 1, plate 2, cardstock die, and then we're going to do another plate 2 and run that through. Take that off carefully. We've got sending, we've got a card to say hello. So then the $64 million question is, what are we going to do with the for the base card? It says thank you, doesn't it? So it should be a note of thanks and not a card to say hello. What an idiot I am. Hey, never mind. We'll just repeat it again. I'll get this right one day. I'm sure some of you were probably shouting at me saying you're doing the wrong one. So this time we're going to be sending a note of thanks. Which is there. And because my laptop's playing up, I can't see you all shouting at me. So hopefully someone has noticed and is shouting at me. So let's try the note of thanks this time. Get the Tahitian Tide ink back. That's fine. Put this on with a bit, oh, she's still got the bit of washi tape from I just used, so I'll reuse that. A note of thanks. Bring back the mini machine. say I was organised. I usually am, but this has just been one of those days, I think. So then we got that, and then those are going to go through. Let's take this bit of washi tape off. You could use a post-it note, or you could use some masking paper, and that's obviously moved, but I'm just going to go with the flow for the time being. So we've got the note of thanks, sending a note of thanks this time. Like that. Now I'm going to do a landscape card, as I said. So I'm just going to get my A4 sheet and I'm going to cut it in half on the short side. So I'm cutting it at half at 10.5. And that's centimetres, not inches, just so you know. And then I'm going to turn it on the long side and I'm going to score it at 14 point, well, I like 8.5, but a lot of people just do 14.9, it's close enough. So that's that. Now I need a piece of basic white. And I'm going to cut two. I'm going to cut one for the inside and one to go on the front. I haven't quite yet decided what I'm going to do with that. So I'm going to need two pieces that are 10 by 14.4. So if you just simply take it and cut it at 14.4 to start off with, and then turn it and cut it at 10 twice. That gives you a card piece for the front and a piece for your inner piece that you can then stamp on or do whatever it is. So that will fit perfectly on there. That will fit perfectly and layer on there, like that. This will go on here. But as I just realised, because I cut that at 13.9, so let's cut this to 9.5. It just means that we will have a bigger border of the Tahitian Tide, which is fine. I'm quite happy with that. Yeah, that's better. And we go, we've got our sending and we've got our, I was going to say it's not a card to say hello, and where have I put it? It was here. That's it, a note of thanks. So let's add these on. So I'm going to put my sending on with some dimensionals. And yes, I do have them to hand, amazingly enough. And I'm just going to use the mini ones because they're great for fitting in these small spaces. Oops. There we go. So today is the 29th of June, my goodness. It's like halfway through the year, that's kind of crazy, or almost. I've got little bits here that are left from when I was cutting strips off the edges, so I'm going to use those up because they're quite good for fitting in like these sort of spaces here where you want something, but oops, that one didn't stick. Let's see now, can I use that one? So put this one on. There we go. So yes, 29th of June. So that means tomorrow's the 30th. Wow. And that also means that that's the end of the January to June mini catalogue. So that will be retired as of 10:59 p.m. tomorrow night. And then we have a new mini catalogue coming out. It's not one thing, it's another, isn't it? It's kind of crazy. Right, I'm going to put my sending over this end, like that. And then my note of thanks I'm going to put here. And then you can still see the thank you here, because you've got the thanks is hidden under there. So again, I'm going to just use some mini dimensionals. Like so. Obviously, the more dimensionals layers you put on, then the more difficult, more expensive it's going to get to post here in the UK, because everything's done on weight and depth. So, now do I want to put anything else on here? I'm in an hurry about whether or not to put some DSP on or not. Actually, it might be quite cute. I don't have much left. Yes, I do like that. So we need to cut that at 13.9. Now, this is not going to be big enough to stick out both sides, so I am literally going to cut it in half. Or thereabouts. And then I will glue it top and bottom, like so. And then add that on. So I think that would be the easiest way to do that. It's just making your paper go a little bit further. Now, do we want dots or do we want checks? What do you think? Oh, we can actually have one of each. Maybe we'll do that. So long as the it all lines up, the bottom and the top. That's all that matters. Oh my goodness, just noticed the time. I need to hurry up. I've obviously been talking far too much and making a bit of a pig's ear of things, but hey, that's what crafting is about. We're not perfect. So I put that on there, that on there, like so. And then that's going to go on there. And again, we can glue it or we can put it on with dimensionals. But as I said, we've already got quite a lot of dimensionals on, so I think I'm just going to stick with the glue on this. You can be quite generous with this because of the embossing, because this is the reversed side. The glue will kind of disappear inside the holes. But you want to make sure at the same time that the whole thing will stick down. And then this bit, I think I will actually put some more dimensionals on, but I'm not going to stick with the little ones. I'm going to put the big ones on because it'll be a lot quicker. So what was I saying? Oh yes, end of the mini catalogue, start of the new one. Everyone should, who have ordered with me in the last 6 months, should have received a copy now, or if you come to Card and a Cuppa or come to classes, because they all went out last week. You can go onto my blog and order one if you want by just simply clicking on the catalogue link in the on there. So I'm short of doing the inside, which I will finish. I need to just simply put some more. I'm going to put some more paper on there, I think, because that's quick and easy. I'm just going to cut a strip of dots. Just this time I'm going to use Parakeet Party because that was my last piece of Tahitian Tide in coloured paper. I somehow seem to have gotten through the whole lot. I mean, the pack as it is has I want to say 48 sheets, but I don't think that's right. 40 sheets. So there's 8 of each of the 5 colours, and then there are different designs. So you've got one with check and spots, and then another that's got flowers and like little chevron on. So there are 4 different designs, 5 different colours. And yeah, I'm going to put it at the end. Looks like I've gone to dimensional and looking at all these bits here. Let's move them out of the way, close that up. I don't want that to dry up. Move some of this out the way. There we go. And then the other thing that finishes tomorrow is the kit collection, buy one get one 50% off offer. So that ends tomorrow too. So if you haven't taken advantage of that and nearly forgot, then you've got until tomorrow night to do that. Right, so that is it. That's my card. I'm thinking, I'll probably, once I've finished here, I'll change that out so that is a bit neater. But I hope you like this technique of using Stampin Blends to make a background. So you can have 4 colours depending on your width, or I could have done it so that it went that way, so that the S was a different colour to the E, etc. But I quite like the idea of having the colours going that way. And this will go up on YouTube, and obviously it gets saved to Facebook as well. Hopefully Facebook don't decide that they're going to mute some of it again. We shall see. And then next week it will be virtual Card and a Cuppa, because 6th of July is the first Wednesday of the month. So I'll be hosting the event over at the Grange Chocolate Cafe, starting from 10, and then I'll be live here doing the virtual Card and a Cuppa from 2:30. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Leave me a comment and I will get back to you if you've got questions. All comments are appreciated. So, and I'll see you next week. Take care. Bye.